All right, what's up, everyone? Janitor Jake here, and give me a minute to get everything situated and squared away to figure out what's going on here, and I will get going. Of course, my phone is just going to take absolutely forever. All right. Let me check. I just need to make sure the sound is fine. All right. Check. Seems like it's fine. Okay. Over here. Fine. Not used to doing this on YouTube. I'm used to dirty, rotten, stinking old Twitch. So give me a minute to make sure I didn't screw up the sound. Not used to doing this on YouTube. I'm used to. All right, cool. All right, I'm going to share this in a couple little spots. The heck. All right, so let me see here. I think we should be good to go here in a smidge bit. All right. And I'm going to get going here, and I am going to be editing this video out and re-uploading it in different segments. All right. Well, I think we are going to get going here in a minute. Put my gut away. All right. Sync audio. Should I sync audio like I usually do? Burp. Oh, I forgot that light. No wonder it looked all wonky and dark in here. Actually, kind of look cool with that dark. With it being dark over there. All right. So, without further ado, let's get going. So, what's up, everyone? I'm Janitor Jake, and welcome to Janitor Jake Plays. Now, I am going to be going on a big epic journey of playing through every single video game that I own in order of release. A little bit of history here. I ended up doing this over on Twitch a couple months ago. I started a couple months ago on Twitch, and I started with the Atari 2600, and I just started going through. The problem I have is I did not gain any followers whatsoever over on Twitch. That's what I think of Twitch. Hogwash nonsense. For 2 months I was over there and nobody watched, with the exception of family members and friends who I invited over to the stream. And I've had experience with Twitch doing that before. However, I've also had experience with YouTube, going on YouTube Live and actually getting viewership. So that's what I'm going to be doing from now on. So like I said, I've been doing this for 2 months, and I went through a whole bunch of games, and I stopped at one game specifically, and I remember what it is. I don't want to go through and do a single video dedicated to each and every game like I did do, otherwise it will take another 2 months, and I don't have time for that. So basically, I'm going to go through during this live stream and just start crunching through all these games really quickly, really fast, and we'll see what kind of poo-poo I can pull off. So without further ado, let's get going. So the very first game I own, the oldest game I own, is this bad boy, the Marx TV Tennis, which is basically a Pong game. The problem is it's broke, so I won't really be able to play it. you know, that's broke too. I got to fix it, and I got to do some electronic work. So this is the oldest console I own. As far as I know, it came out in, I believe, 1974. I don't know the exact month. I tried looking it up, and that's the problem with older games, is good luck finding the exact release date. However, I do have something that I will be playing, and that is this. The APF TV Fun Pong console, model number 401A, and I do believe that this came out in April of 1976. So, this is the oldest playable console that I actually have, that I actually own. So, get everything situated and set up here. Hopefully this works. Let's power the bad boy on and get going here. All right. Whoops. All right. Seems to be good. I got to fix this. So let's go do that, shall we? Oh, get out of the way. Oh, Moki Hokey Artichoke. Here we go with some APF TV Fun. And I actually do own the Whatchajig, the instruction manual. I should probably move that. Move that camera slightly over. Now, what's this? People bothering me. People bothering me already. All right. So anyway, I do have the owner's manual. Am I lined up? I'm lined up a little bit better. I do have the owner's manual for the APF TV Fun, and it's really cool. Shows what's going on and the whole 9 yards, which I think is awesome. It has different games, and there are 4 types of games. So let me find it here. I know they're supposed to tell. Here we go. I was like, they're supposed to tell you what the games actually are. All right, so starting up with Pong, and of course, you're gonna glitch out and freak out, aren't you? That's the only problem I have with a lot of these older Pong consoles. Is that kind of nonsense? Jeez, come on now. All right, so with Pong, it's pretty much a 2-player game, but I do not have a 2-player here. I am a single player, so we're gonna get going with Pong. And game number 1 is tennis or table tennis, which is strictly Pong. And this is basically all it is, straight up Pong. It is really wonky, though, to try to play as a single player. Obviously, it's best playing as a 2-player game, playing with a friend, a buddy, a sibling, a family member, whoever, whatever. As long as somebody can play with you, it's really fun. And because it is Pong, it is a really addicting style game. One of the things that I love about it is the fact that it will automatically kick the ball out. So right now I don't even have to touch it, and it'll just keep going through. So you do not have to serve it. It will serve automatically, which is pretty awesome. And of course, I am playing everything on what they call amateur mode. They have amateur and professional mode. And the thing is, when you do 2 players on this game, when you two get really good at Pong, you don't even have to be really good. You can spend like 5, 6, 7, 20 hours playing this game and not have a single person score at all because it's so slow. However, you can really crank up the difficulty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to professional for the angle. I think that changes up the angle. It makes it a lot more of a sharper angle, and I think it kicks it off at like different angles as well. However, you can also change the bat size. They don't call it a paddle, they call it a bat on the console itself. And if you go like this, look how small that is. Just teeny tiny little things. Now you figure, well, that definitely adds to the challenge, but it shouldn't be too hard, right? Until you do this. Ball speed. Then things go really crazy. And this can make a real intense game of Pong. And like I said, Pong is just super fun anyway. And First person to get to 15 wins. The ball will continue to go through like that, the pong ball, but no one will score points until you reset the game. Now, one thing I do want to mention real quick here is the analog. The analog in here is like super smooth. It's really hard to explain, but because nowadays we are so used to everything being digital, and having something analog means the slightest touch just moves. Like you barely touch it and it just moves with you. It is, mwah, that's what it is. Just perfect. Absolutely amazing, and I love the analog controls. The only issue I have with it is we have gotten so used to digital controls nowadays. Sometimes the analog is almost too good. It can almost be too good. All right, so that was regular Pong. That was tennis/table tennis. And now we're going to go to hockey. So here we go. This is hockey, where this controls that guy, this team, and that team. And I'm on amateur. I'll go back for go to amateur, and here we go. All you have to do is hit start, and there you go. And so I do love the concept of it. Like, rather than just having your regular stereotypical table tennis Pong, like, I love that they actually, hopefully the mic is picking it up. I love that they actually separate it, and you get different Pong games. You know, you get table tennis, and then you get hockey. Like, it's so cool seeing that. Because I'm so used to the idea. Like, I remember at my old arcade back in the 90s, I remember they had a Pong console there, and an actual Pong arcade cabinet, but it was just table tennis Pong. That's all it was. You did not have any different variations. So, but yeah, like I said, there's really not much to do here as a single player, which makes it kind of boring. But if you're two-player, this stuff can get extremely addicting. And of course, you crank up the ball speed and do the angles, and everything goes crazy. Of course, the screen is going crazy. Because the connection is actually bad, which really makes me mad about Pong consoles and a lot of the older consoles from the 70s in general, is people did not take care of their video cables. And so then, because they did not take care of them, it now requires me going through and doing a bunch of soldering to get it taken care of correctly. Or you could go and try to buy a video cable, but some of those things can fetch a pretty penny, which really irritates me. And I always say when playing this that I always pretend I'm playing as the Bash Brothers from Mighty Ducks. So there you go. That was hockey. Yeah, just straight up hockey. And it's cool too because they explain it. Each player has two men, a goaltender, and a forward. Object is to get the ball into the opponent's goal. So it is kind of cool. So game number 3. We are going to, and this is squash or doubles handball. So we're going to do squash or doubles handball. Hit start here. There you go. This one is a little bit more confusing because the ball will go back and forth. So like right there, it went right through me. That's because it's not my turn to hit the ball. So can be kind of wonky trying to play and follow the rules of it. But once you get used to the rules, because it switches off, I get to hit it, and then now the other person has to hit it because it's squash, it's handball. And what's weird, too, is like trying to control both of them at the same time is really weird, really funky. But like I said, playing this in real life would make for a fun, addicting game. Being such a simple game, too, such simple design, not even in color, black and white. And what's interesting, too, is I had to mute the sound over there on the computer because the sound itself will come from the actual console, not the TV. It does not run through the video cable. And Tom says, hey, what's up? How's it going, Tom? How's everything going today? Yeah, something different. Now I'm on YouTube because I just say screw Twitch. Twitch is stupid. Does not give me any viewership. Hopefully YouTube will be a lot better. So how's everything going today? But anyway, that was squash or doubles handball. And now I'm going to go to the only single player game in here, and that is Pelota or single handball. Like game 3, but only one player. And so here we go. I'm going to start this. Oh, I hate when it does that. There we go. So yeah, this is a good way of just practicing single player Pong. And like I said, I am playing on amateur. So basically I could sit here for hours and hours and hours and hours and not ever have, I guess, the wall score against me. However, I could switch up the angle, make the angle a little bit more extreme on professional, and I could change the bat size and go really teeny tiny to make it even harder on myself. And then if I really want to be a masochist, I just go to there, change up the ball speed, and then have everything go really crazy. And of course, this would be awesome if when I do fix the cable, I will have to fix the cable. I apologize for it looking like hogwashy, nonsensical poo-poo flicker. But I did just get done repairing an Atari video cable, so kind of taking a break from repairing electronic stuff. And there you go. So first to 15, then the game ends. So there you go. That was the APF TV Fun. I'm going to power this off here. And then I'm going to go back to scene number 2. And I will show a more close-up of the console, and we will get going. Alrighty, and like I said, that was the APF TV Fun model number 401A Pong console. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but that's the video cable. It's all a bunch of hogwashy poo-poo garbage. Just a bunch of stinky doo-doos. And then I got to go through and repair that because people don't like repairing it. Now, one thing that I love about this is all the different switches. It feels very good, feels very sturdy. And I do love the controls. I love how they have the little knobs here. If you can see that, there's a little knob, but you can also grab the whole thing right there in general, and it's really fun. I love playing this thing, especially with a second player. It makes the game awesome. Super fun. Pong is always addicting. So that is, I guess, the second oldest console I own, but the first oldest console I own that actually works. So we're going to put that away. All right, and next up is another Pong console. So when I do edit this video and put it out there on YouTube, I'm just going to combine everything and make the video really short. As short as I can. So next up is another Pong console. Give me a minute here to go and grab it. Alrighty. Uno mas, because I have to do something. Oh, there they are. Alright, so I actually don't know if this works. I think it works. But anywho, the next console is the Coleco Telstar Alpha. This game, I believe, the last one came out in April of 1976, and this one apparently came out in 1977. So I don't know when. Like I said, good luck ever finding the months and stuff like that. But as far as I know, this console came out in 1977, and right off the bat, I can tell you, it feels a lot cheaper. The plastic feels like crap. They have this like plasticky paper stuff, and it's all peeling up. It probably sat perfect down there, but like I said, even the switches, like, they feel kind of sticky, and I don't think it doesn't feel sticky like it's old and someone spilled pop. It just feels cheap. So I think APF did a way better job with that other console. And this one, it looks like it has the same thing: tennis, hockey, handball, and then Jai Alai. I don't know what that is. What's interesting though is they do have beginner, intermediate, and pro, so they do have 3 different difficulty variations. But anyway, I think it works. I remember, I think I tested it a long time ago, and it worked. But then I took the batteries out, and I have not played this thing for years. And so we're going to give her a test here. Play some Jeopardy music. That's what I should have. I should have a soundboard set up. Should get my friend Mark over here and set up the sound system. so we can have Jeopardy music playing when I'm doing all this. All right, so now I'm going to put the batteries in here. Because I do not have a power supply. That's what sucks. It's kind of cool that these consoles did that, where it's like, well, you lose the power supply, that's okay. You use batteries for it. But, great. Good luck figuring out which way to go in. Look at that dirt. Dirt and hair and hay and mice and snakes and rabbits and deer and geese and everything else flying out of here. I'm just going to guess. Okay, well, it looks like I guessed right. Wow, looks like it takes 6 of them. And they fit in there really loosey-goosey, too. And I can't put another one in there, but they are... And they're pretty loose. Feels really cheap. What's weird, too, is it's Coleco, like ColecoVision. So it's like, man, it feels like they should not have, like, skimped out, but I don't know. Definitely feels like they did on this. Well, it feels a lot heavier duty now. Yeah, you can hear it. Matt says at the store, I'll be home in 5 minutes. So it seems like it's working. So we are going to take this and plug the bad boy in. After I untangle the spaghetti monster. Now, what was that? Batteries from Metallica all over the place. Alright, this is probably going to glitch and freak out. Yeah. Power it on. Let's see here. Ooh, it does work. All right, so I'm going to change up the scene, and we will get to going. Made it. Oh, Matt finally made it. How's it going, Maniac Matt? And, all right, so we're going to get going. I'm going to be playing. I'm not going to go through and show you what I've been doing, but we're going to get going here with the Coleco Telstar Alpha Pong console. So I'm going to change up the scene, and we shall get going. Mokey hokey buck buck. Okay, so here we go with the Coleco Telstar Alpha. Like I said, I believe it came out in 1977. Do not know the month. We're going to go all the way to tennis, and we're going to power it on. And there we go. And like I said before, this thing feels really cheap. And not only does it feel cheap, look at that garbage. Look at that. I'm barely touching the controls, and it's just like freaking out right now. And like I said, I can't actually plug the sound into here because the sound comes out of the console itself. If I were to unmute the sound over there on the capture, all you would hear is a bunch of garbage going on. Wow, this is horrible. Okay, well, I'm going to go to beginner. Hit reset in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, this is totally unplayable. I would have to try to take this thing apart and completely repair it from scratch. Like I said on the previous Pong console I just played, the APF TV Fun from 1976, way superior in quality of the product. Physically, just the physical quality is absolutely amazing. But as you can see, it's pretty much stereotypical Pong. I have to push down really hard on these things to try to even get them to calm down. If I let loose, like they move on their own. Like I don't even touch it and they start moving. Pretty rough. But like I said, pretty much stereotypical. It's interesting too because you cannot change the angle. Like APF TV Fun, you could change the angles and do all that stuff individually. This one you can't. So, and if I go to intermediate, probably keeps the same ball speed. Okay, so I kind of see what it is. That just changes the paddle, and then this adds. But if you want, whoa, create. So you cannot have a small paddle and do large ball size, unless it. No. So right there too, they kind of skimped out. You cannot do a small paddle with the fast ball. So APF TV Fun definitely blew this one out of the water. Matt says you're starting way back. Yeah, exactly. I am going way back. I totally forgot. When I started the stream on Twitch, I was like, oh yeah, the Atari, but I forgot that I owned Pong consoles. And I showed this earlier. I forgot that I owned that. The problem is this thing does not work. But I do think I can repair it, and I want to repair it. All right, so we're going to move on to hockey. Look at, like, I'm in tennis right now. Why is it doing that? Whatever, I'm in hockey now. So we're going to go to beginner, hit reset, and of course, just like the APF TV Fun, we get to play some hockey, and like I said, I am playing as the Bash Brothers from the good old Mighty Ducks. Pretty much the same thing as the other Pong console, not much to say here. Like I said, this is just way worse, though. You know, the game is the same, except they did skimp out a little bit with the different options, whereas the APF TV Fun had more options. This one has a little bit less options, and the plastic feels really cheap, and as you can tell by the flicker and all that garbage, it is really cheap. There you go. Get stuck in a loop. So now I am going to go to handball. And this should be singles handball, so here we go. And of course, if I just go to pro, start over. It is pretty difficult because, like I said, the way it is, sometimes it'll feel like the ball goes through the paddle, but that's just because of the flickery nonsense. So if you were to pick up a Pong console, I would definitely say stay away from the Coleco Telstar Alpha. It just, I don't know, unless, I probably have just, like I said, I probably have just a bad console. But even so, even though it's in really good condition itself, like I said, the plastic just feels really cheap. So there's definitely a lot better Pong consoles out there than this one. I think this one is garbage. And like I said, people would be like, well, you just happen to have a crappy version. You just got to undo it, kind of repair everything, and there you go. But like I said, even the switches are like really garbage, and the software, they could have done a little bit better. And so this is what they call Jai-Alai, whereas it's just squash. Squash or doubles handball. See, they weren't trying to do all fancy names, too, with the APF TV Fun. They were just being normal. Squash, doubles handball. But Coleco Telstar, they're like, no, Jai-Alai. You're going to play some Jai-Alai. Okay. Jai-Alai. Terrible. All right, so anyway, we're going to power that off. And that was the Telstar Alpha. I'm going to change up scenes here. Okay. Anyway, that was the Coleco Telstar Alpha. Like I said, in comparison to the APF TV Fun, this one, it's got that good old-fashioned wood grain look to it. It's really cool. It's not wood, it's plastic, but man, they were on point when they made it. Like I said, you have the different switches here that change up the different difficulties. You can have some up, some down, and it just feels good and solid and sturdy. And this just feels really cheap plastic. It's hard to move those, and I have to repair it, but the video cable sound, you know what I should do? I should replace the video cable on this and put it with the APF TV Fun, because I'm pretty sure it uses the same type of cable. So that would be interesting to maybe do that. But That was the Telstar Alpha. Like I said, if you have a choice between the APF TV Fun or the Coleco Telstar Alpha, throw this one right in the garbage and get the APF TV Fun. Okay, so I'm going to try something here. Wait a minute. I know, screwing everything up. Alright, so now I'm going to get to the third and final Pong console before I head on over to the Atari 2600. So give me a minute to go and grab that, and we will get going. Okay, this one is a lot more fancy pants. So here we have the Ricochet Electronic Color TV Game Center, and I do have it complete in the box. I have not yet played this. I just picked this up, I think like a month ago or something like that. So just picked it up, haven't even tested it. The people I got it from was an older couple, and it seems like maybe they got this when they were younger, and this thing is like in pristine condition. There is like a little mark, like maybe there was some tape or something right there and it got peeled off, but look at the quality of the box. I mean, this thing looks beautiful. Really great condition. Oh, love that smell. Smells like the 1970s. Cigars and whiskey. And it does come with the manual. So we have the Ricochet Owner's Manual. Do not know when this came out. If anyone's watching and you want to comment, let me know. When did the Ricochet... What is this one? Ricochet Electronic Color TV Game Center. When did that come out? On here it says 76. But I'm assuming maybe, I don't know, maybe it came out in 76. And have not yet tested it. Hopefully it works. And so we are going to... What's crazy, too, is the games. How many games did it say it has? 72 different game variations. So this is going to get crazy. This is going to get pretty crazy here. And these are the actual games themselves. Yeah, you don't get controllers. You get consoles. You actually get full-blown consoles for your actual controller. That is crazy. Unboxing video now. Alright, so this is controller 2, I'm assuming. So here's... Wow, that feels insane. Wow, these buttons are like smooth. Like rather than like clicky, like instead of like going click, click, like you can slowly move. It's like a wheel in there. That is awesome. Wow, and the video cables, these cables are like really thick plastic. But it's not like stiff. No, okay, so those are connected. And Maniac Matt says it came out in 1976. Gotcha. So I should have played this one before the Coleco Telstar, but I'll edit that out when I re-upload the video. And even this is in really good... Look at that. It has both prongs on it. That's crazy. Both prongs are still in there. That is awesome. Oh, looks like my battery is dying over there, so I'm going to plug that in real quick. Okay, and we do have a power supply. Thank goodness. Weird, it looks like it says a Nike on there. And I will edit this out and eventually upload the video as me reviewing all the Pong consoles. And that's the thing, too, with these consoles. The video cable and the power supply cables have always been really, really long. But the thing is, I actually like that because it enables you to put the console right next to you, because you had to mess with the switches and everything in order to play a lot of the games. Alright, so I'm going to go over here. Get this powered up. Ooh, all right. Actually, pretty excited because I have yet to play this thing. So we're gonna power off, sound off. Wow, you can turn the sound on or off. Well, that's weird. So, like, what I consider controller 2, you turn the power on, but on controller 1, they have all these other, like, different controls. Weird. All right, I'm gonna try powering it. Okay, so yeah, you can put batteries in there too. I'm gonna power it on and see if we get sound. Oh, it works. And you can turn sound off too. That's crazy. All right, so now oh, that's weird. That looks a lot different. This end looks like it's the end that plugs in on the inside. It's kind of weird. All right, everything's turning into a mess now. Time to plug in the video cable. Yeah, I know. All right, I think I got everything. So without further ado, let's power the puppy on and see what happens. What do I do now? I thought I plugged it in. I wonder if it's not going to work with my adapter. It should. I don't know why it's not. That's why. She was turned to channel 4. Okay, well, holy smoke in a handbasket. Look at that. Why is it going that way, too? And they were right. It is in color. So, here we go. Time to play some Ricochet. Electronic Color TV Game Center. Okay. Feel like Missile Command now. Okay, here we go. Here we go. So they do feel a little bit wonky here. I don't even know what game number 1 is. It is kind of poo-poo that that's the way it is, but all right. Let's see here, figure out what the games are. Jumper cable. You can start your car with it. Slam. So it has Ricochet, hockey, tennis, 3-wall racquetball. Okay, so it pretty much only has the basic 4 games like the other ones do, but apparently they had to have like I'm going to go to normal. Whoa. Look at that. And like change up the color. Color quarter player. I kind of like that. I kind of like the different colors like that. All right. I don't even know like how you do this. Ricochet, hockey, tennis, and racquetball. We're going to go to Ricochet. Okay, so Ricochet is what it is. Just singles handball. That's pretty crazy too, like the ball stays over there. So, whoa, weird. English Pro. What is that? So we're going to do automatic. Whoa! Okay, you need to calm down. Manual serve. How do I serve this? There's a button right here. You put Pro English. Pro Slam? Now, why'd that go through that? Do I have to hit reset? There we go. Ooh, look at all those pretty colors. Alright, manual serve. There we go. So yeah, this thing is like amazing. This is like the Cadillacs of Pong consoles. I don't know. Like out of what I own, dude, this Pong console like just looks amazing. There's so many buttons and just stuff everywhere that I want to play with and mess with. Like this would be really fun for Chris and I to sit down and do an episode on for the American Gaming Geeks. It's just, I don't know, man. This thing seems fun. It has buttons you can push, different things. Like if I want to go speed, turn that up, and now I'm doing pro speed. I can do automatic serve instead of manual serve. Ooh, turn that off. Okay. English Pro. I don't know what that does. I'm pretty sure the manual... Whoa. I'm pretty sure the manual would explain it. I'm not going to really sit here and read the manual, though. It seems like it's really kicking off at, like... Maybe that's what it is. The English Pro is, like, doing more extreme angles. Racket Pro. Gotcha. So it changes the size of your paddle. And then color court. So that makes it more like a tennis court, but I kind of like that. I think that looks really cool. So yeah, that was Ricochet, basically singles handball. I don't know what the slam thing is. Oh, so if you put pro slam, bam, so you push the button and it goes faster. So it's like you can slam the ball. So it's like it's bam and you hit it faster. That is crazy. Like there's so much stuff you can screw around here with. Oh, I'm getting points. What? Well, that's weird. I didn't realize I was getting points. Usually, like, you just play forever. But here after 15, I must have it on a setting where it does that. There's got to be another setting where I can basically play for all eternity. Oh, it does reset when you miss. Crazy. Matt says we only have you on camera. That's wonderful. Thanks for actually saying something. Oh, so I just made a big giant boo-boo. Well, I'm trying something new here where you can change up the scenes and everything, but garbage. Absolute garbage. Well, it's a good thing you happened to look and tell that I was not showing the gameplay. Alright, so I made a boo-boo and did not show the gameplay, so I played it for a long time. But basically, this is Ricochet. So, start over. Here we go with Ricochet. And I can do a manual serve. And I can serve myself. Do this. Everything is fine. Everything's cool. If I want, I can change the color. Now, this is what's called player color. But I can do this and go to court color to make it look more like a tennis court. So I think it's really awesome. But I do love the colors. Like, it's really, really cool seeing the different color variations on here. Especially being Pong. Like, Pong has just been black and white. And to see actual color, that's awesome. And right now, this is slow speed. So I'm going to hit reset, manual serve, and crank up the speed. There we go. Now we're talking. Now we're cooking with goose grease. Here we go. And like I said, what's really interesting is when I hit 15, the game's like, yep, you win. Yep, you won. But if I like, wait a minute, manual serve, if I do that and miss, then it's like, nope, the computer wins. He gets a point. So I love that too. Like you can actually battle it out with the computer. That was a great idea. This is the best Pong console I own. And so that's speed. And you can do English Pro, which really, I believe, changes up the angles. You get more extreme angles. It's not really showing it, but earlier it was doing a lot of, right there, it changes up the angles on you. I think that's what English Pro does. And then we can turn the manual serve to auto serve, so it just does it automatically. Really fun. This is more like, you know, when Nintendo came out and they called it the Nintendo Entertainment System. That's how this feels. Like this is an entertainment system, like with all the buttons and all this fancy hickory dickory dock all over. And if you do Racket Pro, that actually changes the size of your paddle. So now I got a teeny tiny paddle. And you can change it on the fly too, which is awesome. Definitely really, really cool. And like I said, you can change the color. And over here, you can turn the sound on or off, so you don't even need to have sound. And then there's this thing called Pro Slam. I was like, what is Pro Slam? So it's going slow, but if you push the button, it starts going fast until you let go of the button. So you hold the button, it goes fast. So you can like go like that. You're playing, bam, and then just make it go fast all of a sudden. So like if you're player 2 and you have, actually this would be the player 1. So player 1 can control all this. Player 2, oh, you can do it as player 2. Crazy. So yeah, that's really awesome though. Like there's so much little detaily stuff. I think Pro English, I think this change, if you hold it, it makes the angles all screwy. So yeah, that's really, really cool. This thing is absolutely awesome. Alright, so after that we're going to go to hockey. So good old hockey. Hit reset and here we go. Yeah, this is kind of wonky. Obviously a lot of flicker, a lot of nonsense going on. But it might be because it just needs to get played. Maybe from, because I've had that with other Atari controllers where it once you start to play with the actual controllers, wait a minute. Oh, never mind. I was looking at something else. Anyway, when you actually play with the actual controllers, like some of the paddle controllers, they feel real wonky, but the more you play with it, then all of a sudden it's like it just seems to get better. So that might be a thing where this just needs to get played more to have it work out. But there you go. It's the same as the other games, but this time in color, and you have like all sorts of crazy things you can do. You can change it up to make it look like you're playing tennis. And then like this can just go crazy, which is really fun. This would make for a really intense 2-player game. Alright, so now we're going to move on to tennis, which is just stereotypical Pong. Flip the switches back down, so there you go. So it's pretty much like I said, just like the other Pong consoles I've been playing that I own, but basically on crack. Like this is just way better than all that stuff. And then racquetball, same deal. So really not much else to say about it. That is the Ricochet Electronic Color TV Game Center. I will say this thing is awesome. It is on channel 3 though, or channel 4. Here you go. Change that so I don't forget. And then if I switch it on the here, yeah, there you go. Okay, so that was the Ricochet. Look at all this. Electronic TV Game Center. This thing is amazing. Definitely the best Pong console that I own. I thought the APF TV Fun was pretty cool. This thing really brings it. The fact that it's in color looks really cool. Definitely looks a lot better than black and white. Some people might prefer black and white, and it does look neat. It has that aesthetic to it, but to actually see something like this in color really looked awesome. And like you can control everything, like all these switches. It's just this thing is amazing and would be really, really, really fun to play with if you had a second player with. And like I said, what makes it even better is that it does come complete in the box. As complete as I know. It's got the game and the manual, and the box is in pristine condition. Not mint, but close enough. Really, really awesome. So I am going to put this away, and then I'm going to throw down with the Atari VCS from September of 1977. Matt says stuff everywhere. Exactly, just stuff all over the place. I got two Pong consoles there. This one, now I got to move that and pull out the Atari. I got the table tennis over there. I got Wario and Mario over here. Bubsy 3D sitting over there. Alrighty. Look at all this. Mess everywhere. Okay. So, power that on. Okay, make sure you're actually working. Fine. All right, sync audio. All right, so next up. All right, so for next up on the list, we have Air Sea Battle for the Atari 2600 or Atari VCS. Do not own the box, but however, I do own the manual, and so I've read through all this, and like I said, I played it before on Twitch, so I'm going to go through and kind of give an overview and a review and go through each and every single stage that there is, because there are a lot of game variations on here. I believe there's 27, which is crazy. So that is what is insane is you go from Pong, which is like, oh, not only it was cool because in Pong, with the Pong consoles, they gave you 4 different games, whereas in the arcade, I think you only had one. So they go from 1 to 4, then they go from that to color, except Coleco Telstar, which was garbage. Then all of a sudden you get like an actual game. This was like mind blowing for people at the time, I'm assuming. So without further ado, we're gonna get going. I remembered. And now I need my remote control to turn. There we go. And I do have to unmute it from the TV or from over there. So. Alright, so you guys are going to have to let me know if the audio's too loud, if it's too quiet, or what is going on. But anyway, I am playing Air Sea Battle on the Atari 2600. Now, I did not show a good shot of it, but I am playing with my Light Sixer. The only problem with this is that the controller port is starting to go out on it, so it's kind of irritating. But that's what I'm going to be playing with today. So without further ado, let's pop the puppy in and get going. There we go. Boom. So, what's really interesting about this game... Yes. Oh, yeah, that's right. You got to play with this controller. So, this game was part of the... Turn that down. So, this game was part of the original launch titles, the 9 original launch titles for the Atari 2600, or the Atari VCS. And out of all the 9 launch titles, I actually own 5 of them. So this is game number 1. Now what's interesting is that you actually have a time limit. So this game will start counting down. You don't see the timer, but you have 2 minutes, and I believe it's 2 minutes and 16 seconds to attempt to get as many points as you can. And basically you're controlling an anti-aircraft gun, and you got to shoot down the various different types of aircraft. I don't exactly remember what all the aircraft is. In the manual it explains, I believe these are small jets. So these are the small jets. You have small jets, large jets, helicopters, and then 747s. And of course all we're going to do is see all the small jets. Not Benny and the Jets, just the small jets. And of course what's really kind of cool is there is a lot of timing here where you have to time your shots perfect. Make sure you line it up and shoot beforehand. And so there is a large jet. And I've not yet seen a helicopter. And that's the only other issue I have, is that when you shoot once, you are not allowed to shoot again. You have to wait for your bullet to clear the screen. However, if you do hold the button down, as soon as your bullet leaves the screen, you can fire again. So as soon as you hit, and now if the numbers are flashing, that means time is almost up. So there's some more large jets, and right off the bat here at the beginning, each shot, every time you hit an aircraft, it will only give you 1 point. And I am playing like absolute slop. And there you go. 2 minutes and 16 seconds are up. Game's done. Time to move on. So we're going to go game select. And actually I was on hard difficulty. I should switch that down. So we're going to go to game... Oh, I hate when it jumps like that. We're going to go to game number... Come on now. Game number 2. So this one, you can actually control your missiles, which I love. I love the fact that you can actually control them, where they fire. There we go. There's some helicopters, finally. So if you think you're going to miss, you can always do that. And that's like one of my favorite styles with the game, is the fact that you can actually control that stuff. So really not much else to say other than, try to get as many points as you can. The only problem, I like it because it's random. However, and these are 747s. So, but like I was saying, it's random, which I'm pretty sure it's random, which I like. However, it would be kind of cool if it was on more of a pattern thing, because then you could try to maximize your points. Like, I think some days you might throw this in and start playing it and just absolutely slaughter the game and hit 99 points, which when you hit 99 points, the game will end. So the game will end when you either hit 99 points or the time runs out. So if you have like a perfect run, you can like just slaughter the game in no time at all. However, it might be like really cheap and give you really bad shots. It might be going really slow, be kind of dumb, cheap, whatever. And a lot of other reviewers have said, this game kind of sucks as a single-player game because it's meant to be two-player. Like right now, player number 2 is supposed to be firing. But to be honest, I think it's a great single-player game if you treat it for what it is. a target shooting game. It's just literally you shooting a target without a second player. So I think it's totally fine. And this is what I like. I love when the planes and stuff go by a lot faster. Just it makes things go by a lot faster. So there we go, and time's getting ready to run out. So I'm just gonna go on to game number 3. Game number 3, you son of a gun. Game number 3 is actually single player. You cannot control your shots anymore. And this time you have the computer, which is basically the computer is just doing this in a sense. It's just like somebody holding the button. And he's smoking me right now too, so I'm actually got to start paying attention. But yeah, so technically, because all it does is just fire continuously on, like that. The thing is, if you have a wrench or like a pair of pliers, every single game could be against the computer then. Because all you'd have to do is, or tape, like just tape the button down on the first controller in the left port, and every game would be against the computer. Doesn't Atari have a game called Target Shoot? Yes, Maniac Matt, they do have a game called Target Shoot. Something like that, Target Shoot, Target Shooter. All it is Air-Sea Battle. Basically, Target Shoot is what Sears called Air-Sea Battle. So if you got the game from Sears, they renamed it, which is really weird. It's really goofy how Atari had a deal with Sears, and they actually sold like their own Atari consoles with their own Sears brand on it. I even have Sears paddle controllers. But yeah, I have a few games like that. I think I have 1 or 2 games where it's like, it's called Tele games, T-E-L-E games. But yeah, Target Shoot is Air-Sea Battle. And so that's game number 3 for you. And I'm going to move on to game number 4. So this is game number 4, which goes back to a 2-player, I guess, whatever. Except this time you have these things in the way with the big letter A. These are observation blimps. They don't provide you any kind of points or nothing. They just literally get in your way. And so one of the things that I love about this is, though, too, like I said, it's not Pong. Like, Pong is you're just shooting a Pong ball back and forth. And so to go from that to something like this must have been mind-blowingly awesome for people who never played in the arcades. You know, if you played in the arcades, obviously you're used to stuff like this. And if you owned the Fairchild or the Apple II, but like, I think a lot of people's first game consoles were probably the Atari 2600 or the Atari DCS. And like I said, for an early title like this, it's really fun and really addicting. Like, I could just play this game for a long time. Not for hours, but I could definitely put a good hour into playing this game. Which I did do over on Twitch. And, so yeah, like I said, the observation blimps just get in the way. The only thing I wish they would have done, but being an early release title like this, they probably couldn't really do it. But I wish the colors would change. I talked about that on Twitch, but I wish the colors would change. If you, like, just reset the game, like if you power the game on and turn it on, well, weird. Yeah, and if you just let it sit, it'll cycle through these colors. And there's certain color patterns that I love. Like that, I think it looks cool. It's like, it's nighttime. So it's like you could shoot, anti-aircraft guns, shoot down all these aircraft at night. That looks like, in the morning time. But my favorite one is when the background is yellow. And it makes it look like sunset. I just think it looks really, really awesome. So game number 5 is the same thing, except now you control your missiles. So it's the same game, except now you control the missile, and there you go. Observation blimps. Oh yeah, and then the points go up too. So each each piece of aircraft has their own points. So like that was 4 points for hitting that thing. I didn't pay attention. But yeah, they all have like their own point system, so which is awesome. And like I said, being a two-player game, it can make for some intense gameplay. So next up is like that. I love the way that looks. That right there, I love that color pattern. But I skipped it, so okay. Keep skipping. So game 6 is 3-player or 2-player. So you have single player, static shot. Then you have single player where you can control your shot and then play against the computer. So same thing, except now I'm basically playing against the computer and I cannot control my missiles. So going up. Game 7, here we go. This one is, I can't remember what they call it, Polaris, I think. So now you control a submarine, and you try to shoot down different ships. And what I think is really cool is the different type of ships you have. I believe that is a PT boat. That, I can't remember what the manual calls it, but you actually do get pirate ships. I don't even know where I put the manual. But yeah, like you get the different type of boats and stuff, like PT boats, pirate ships, cruisers, bombers, whatever. And so there you go, it just changes it up, and I think it's really cool. Like now you're underwater shooting at it. And what's really fun too is like, what I really love with the design element is it could be, you know, with the way they have the blue and the green and the grass and everything, you could tell like, oh yeah, this is definitely underwater. It should be inverted though, like it should be lighter at the top and darker on the bottom if you're underwater shooting up at boats. But yeah, that's basically it. Nothing really much to say here. I do love the different colors though. Oh, and you can't move all the way. You can only move up to that point, and then it automatically just stops. So game number 8. Except now you can actually control the missile. So with game number 7, you cannot control it, and game number 8, you do control it. Ooh, and like I said, nothing too much to say here. Same exact thing as game number 7, except this time you can do that and fire all willy-nilly and do whatever. So, game number 9, same thing, except now you're playing against the computer. Oh yeah, and that's the other difference. They do not loop back around, so you will always get a new set. So like right here, if you let those go, they will not loop back. So you really do have to try to kill everything on screen if you want the max. Well, if you want max amount of points, you got to do it anyway. But they will never come back. You have to wait for a completely new wave to come through. So there you go. Not much to say. I'm going to move on to the next one. And this time it does the same thing with the observation blimps. Except instead of being observation blimps, these are mines. So bombs, I guess, mines in the water. And the dogs are going to freak out now, even though they've been quiet up to this point. And the ships now go back and forth. So, which is really cool. How things will just kind of go willy-nilly all over the place. Definitely fun. And would be super fun to have a second player with, but nothing really much else to say. Move on to the next one. Game number 11, same thing, except once again, obviously you can control your shots. And with that being said, obviously you know what game number 12 would be then. Can you guess? Can you guess what game number 12 is? Well, you're right. Game number 12 is you cannot control your shot, but you're going against the computer. And like I said, if you have a wrench, you can just, or a piece of tape, you just hold down the button on the second controller, and you would always be playing against the computer. So we're going to move on to the next one. This is probably my favorite version because it's like the anti-aircraft game, except this time you can actually move. Not only can you move back and forth, you can still move your gun up and down, but you have the different characters you shoot at. So you have ducks, which that's what that is. You got a duck. Then you have rabbits, which is right here. You got a whole bunch of rabbits coming up. And then those big giant smiley faces, the manual actually calls clowns. So you actually get to shoot clown faces. Even though they don't say clown faces, they say clowns. There you go. And there you go, big old smiley clown face over there. But my favorite variant, like I said, this is probably my favorite game on here, but my favorite variation is not that one. This one, because you can actually control your shots. So this is where things can get real chaotic and real crazy, especially if you have like a second player playing with you. This is where you can actually, I believe, hit 99 points. Unless you play like slop like I am. And that's the thing too, is they will change angles like mid-pattern. So like they'll just be going and then they'll just change direction on you, so you can like sit there and miss. Try and get him, gotcha. Over here, boom. And I don't know if I'll attempt to get up to 99 because it does take a while. Especially when they start doing that, like I said, they start jittering back and forth. But with a lot of the smaller creatures being worth more points, you can definitely hit 99 pretty quickly. Hopefully. Matt said something. Matt says, seems like you were so far along on Twitch. Yeah, that was the problem, is I played so much on Twitch. I played for 2 months and got all the way up there to Chopper Command. And then, like I said, I was like, you know what, I'm so sick and tired of not having viewership on Twitch. I would just rather do it on YouTube. But I like the idea of having YouTube videos stay up there. And so if they're going to stay on YouTube, I want to have actual information. And so this stuff I'm going to edit down and start uploading the videos individually. Like I'm going to talk about the Pong consoles, and then Air Sea Battle will have its own separate video. But that's why I'm going to try to tear through all these games. And hopefully in at least 4 days from now, I will have cleared it out and get back to the beginning and start over again. However, because of this, I will get to play some of the games that I recently picked up. And so there will be some reacting to it. And now you're going to hop in here and get in the way of everything. I'm surprised you didn't knock that down. That actually, oh, you're lucky. So almost hit 99, couldn't quite do it. Alright, so there you go. And then, of course, this is the same thing. Cannot control your shots, and you're playing against a computer. Not much to say. Time to move on. And so this one is interesting because now you're moving. This is probably my least favorite game of them all because you're constantly moving. The only thing you can do is like speed up or slow down. If you hold fast and then shoot and let go, you will still continue to go fast. Same thing with slowing down. You can let go. But if you try holding fast and shoot and try to slow down, you can't do it. Same thing here. If you shoot and then try to go fast, can't do it. So really all you can do is like slow down, speed up. Definitely my least favorite game on here. But still would be fun nonetheless trying to play with somebody else. And this, of course, I don't remember exactly, but I do think, so yeah, changed up the way I'm going. But yeah, this one you can control your shots, which it's weird, like I said, because you are constantly moving. But and this one, of course, just going against the computer. Nothing much to say there. And this one, you actually get to control the airplane, so which is pretty cool. I love how they switch it up like that, which is really awesome. So not much to say there. Time to move on. Same thing, except you can control the missiles. Same as everything else. And of course, going against the computer. So, game 23, this is more just this is pretty much strictly two-player. This is where you and your friend would actually do battle with each other. So if you're used to a game like Combat, this is kind of like Combat, I guess. Except you can't really control it. You're constantly moving other than your speed. This, I don't know. Oh, and so this one I'm going against the computer. And you do go in opposite directions, too, at times. Some of the variations will actually have you change directions. So all of a sudden you'll be going from left to right, and all of a sudden it'll switch and you're going right to left. And then this just adds stuff getting in your way to help block the shots. Really not much to say. Did I skip over 26? I don't even know if I'm hitting all of them or not. There we go. And of course, this one you can control your shots. Not much else to say. And then 27, the final game against the computer. So there you go. That was Air Sea Battle for the Atari VCS or Atari 2600. Now I'm going to have to move you. I know you're going to get mad. Sleeping on everything. Terrible. So Air Sea Battle, definitely a fun game for being an early launch title. I think it would be great to play it with a second player. Okay. So now I'm going to move onward. I'm just going to leave the camera angle where it's at. And now I'm going to move onward to Blackjack. This is where things start getting irritating. Alright, so here we go. Today I'm going to be playing Blackjack for the Atari VCS or the Atari 2600. Now, do not own the manual, do not own the box. I did read the manual a long time ago when I played it on Twitch, and it's basically what it is. It's Blackjack. There are some rules from the casino that are not implemented into the game, but they do keep it a pretty basic form of Blackjack. Now, what really irritates me is that it requires the use of paddle controllers, and I hate that. That's the one thing about Atari that I do not like, is how you always have to constantly switch out your controllers, and I think that's also why my controller port started going poo-poo on me. From constantly changing out the controllers. That's why I'm glad that with some of the later titles, they kept it more like just using the regular joystick. So here we go with Blackjack. Now I gotta make sure. Alright, so this is the right paddle. And that's the thing, too. You have to figure out which paddle is actually the right paddle. And so you can do a single bet. So you can bet one chip, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's really touchy, really finicky. Usually I just bet 25 chips. I just go all out. Let's go crazy. Weird. So, there we go with Blackjack. Here we go. So I got 18, and if you know how to play Blackjack, it's a lot easier. Oh, am I on easy? Weird. Yeah, I'm on easy. All right, so you can hit. I can do a double down or stay. You know what? I'm just going to go for broke here. I'm a big head honcho here at the casino. Let's double the bet. So I'm going to bet 50, and I bust. So that's the problem. If you double the bet, you get an extra card. Apparently, you get an extra card. I didn't realize that. But whatever, so I lost. So we're going to go again. So I got a 12. Should I stay or should I hit? The problem is, if you actually know about blackjack, you want to stay. Because if I hit, thinking, well, because you want to get up to 21. But if I hit on a 12, I might get another 10. A 10, jack, king, or queen. 10, jack, queen, or king. And I bust. So it's like, no, you got to play it safe. The problem is, computer has a queen. So if I bet, I guarantee they're going to get a 10, jack, queen, or king, and they're going to, or an ace, and they'll win. So I'm going to stay. And they got 19. I lost. Oh, there you go, blackjack. And that's one thing I love. I love when the sound freaks out. That's what I love. Like, that's really cool. You did not get that with ARC Battle. You had some of the sounds, the boom, whatever, but you did not get it freaking out going, so I think that's really cool that it did that. Okay, what do we got here? We have a 9 and a jack, so we have 19, so I definitely would want to stay. I don't know what double is. I think because I'm on easy mode, it's allowing me to double every bet. It'll change up the rules a little bit. You have casino rules, and then you have house rules. I might be on house rules, I do not know. But I want to stay at 19. And I won, there you go. What makes this game really, really fun is, oh, right here, I want to double, because I'm at 11. If I hit a 10, I'll hit 21. So double. Darn it. Lost. What makes this game really fun, though, is when you actually start doing good. See, I'm at 15. No, I'm at 13. And they got 15, and whatever. They busted. Oh, there you go. So they got 15. So I'm playing with a certain rule where he had a jack, he hit 15, but he has to bet again. I think they can only stay on 17. This is that weird blackjacky rule nonsense. They have to stay on 17. So if they get a 16, they have to make a bet, which is really, really nice. Did not want to do that. But anyway, there we go. Like I was saying, what makes the game really fun, though, is when you actually do good. And you can actually, technically, from what I gather, this is probably the first official Atari video game that you can actually beat. If you get to 1,000 chips, the game will, like, I don't know exactly what happens, but when you hit 1,000 chips, it stops. And right now I'm at 249. I got a blackjack, which is awesome. And this is when it gets fun. This is when it gets kind of addicting. Ooh. Yeah, see right there, you doubled it, hit 50, and I won. Super fun. And this is just like, man, okay, almost to 300. Okay, shoot, I'm at 12. I don't know. Let's hit. Lucky. Hit 18. I'm going to stay. And I lost. But this is what gets fun. All of a sudden, you're like, okay, I want to, whatever. I want to get to 300. All of a sudden, you hit 300. You're like, yeah, that was awesome. I hit 300. Let's get up to 400. And then you're like, yes, I hit 400. I'm getting there. Next thing you know, you're like up to 800. 900. You're almost there. Then it gets fun and gets pretty addicting. The problem is when the game starts cheating and getting really cheap with you. The first time I played it on Twitch, I had lots of fun. My friend Matt was sitting there watching. It was really cool, and he was excited because I was getting really close. I was like up to 800, and everything got really crazy, and I was like, oh man, this is awesome. Then eventually I started losing, but oh, it was fun. Came back the next day and tried it and got my butt handed to me. The computer was like, nope, I'm just going to give you really crappy hands and tough. This is basically what the game was saying, and it was kind of garbage. So, not really much else to say. It's blackjack. There's not a whole lot of game. This is a game for somebody like that would be older, an older adult back in the 1970s who loved playing blackjack and just wants to play with no one else around. What's really cool is you can have up to 3 other people play. So, it can be 4 players in total, the computer, and 3 of you, 2 buddies, and then the computer. So there could be 3 of us sitting here playing this thing. But I'm going to go on to difficulty A. So I'm going to change up the difficulty. I don't believe... Yeah, so game select will actually change it between the amount of players. You can have 1 player, 2 player, 3 player, 4 player, and you can start taking certain players out too. That's what the game select switch does. Difficulty, now I am up in difficulty A, which is hard mode. So I believe it changes up the rules. Let me see here. Yeah, so see, I can't double anymore. Now it's either stay or hit. That's either a 14 or I can count it as a 1, so a 5. So I hit 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll hit. I'm at 18. I'll stay. 12, and I lost. I'll stay at 19. Do not want to hit that. And I won. But like I said, very fun game. It can definitely get addicting. Playing on hard mode, I think, is a little bit easier because you don't have to worry about the doubling or any of that nonsense. And they do change up some of the rules, which is written in the rule book, and it's really fun to actually sit there and read that stuff. And when you know what to do, it can be pretty fun. But otherwise, not a whole lot to say about the game. So anyways, that was Blackjack for the Atari VCS or the Atari 2600. Do not own the manual, do not own the box. But it is a fun game for what it is. It's not a great game. It's not a bad game. It's just one of those weird... It's like off in its own category. It's kind of like a game show game, you know, Blackjack. But anyway, time to move on to the next one. Alrighty, and next up, we have... Hold on a minute. Remember, I'm going to be editing this out, so I'm doing some wonky, weird little things here. Alright, 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so next up, we have Combat for the Atari VCS, and this I actually do have complete in the box with the manual and the whole 9 yards, so I do get the cartridge, which is text label, and I really don't like the text labels. I love the artwork labels. I think they look better. And a box is in pretty much mint condition. I mean, there's a few scuffs, but great condition. And the manual, great condition as well. And this is part of the original 9 launch titles. This game came out in September of 1977. And so let's go through and play some Combat. Now, one of the issues with this game is that it does require the joystick, which is good, but playing games like this, now I have to take out the paddle controllers and plug in the joysticks. So, here we go. Okay, so this is Combat. Now, a lot of people who grew up with the Atari absolutely love this game. There we go. Whoops. And like I said, my controller port is kind of wonky, so here we go. Everyone always talks about Combat, just being an awesome, amazing, epic game. Combat, 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 Combat. Everyone loves Combat. Combat this, Combat that, Combat this, and Combat that. However, I am not a big fan of it. Why? Because I'm playing this as a single player, not a 2-player. And this game is strictly a 2-player game. So there's really nothing to do here other than to like try to go around and like find glitches. So when I played this on Twitch, that's what I did. I just went around and attempted to discover glitches, which you can get, which is kind of cool if you do it right. But that's the problem. In order to like do stuff like this, I gotta do this. Now, granted, there is the other controller, and I could grab it and try to do stuff, but try to line stuff up easier. You can sit here and like, well, now I'm not gonna find it. There we go. But yeah, I've done like weird glitches where like you shoot the thing and then your tank goes flying willy-nilly all over the screen. It's really fun to do, but like really that's it. As a single player, this game is really boring and really crappy and not that fun because this is all you do. So, not much to be said being a single player game, but 2-player, this game would be super fun. And so game number 2 offers a lot more. Now you have like barriers and like that, like glitchy stuff, like kicking through the barricades and stuff like that. Like this game would be super fun to play as a 2-player, but just as a single player game, not that fun. Really, like I said, the only thing you're going to be doing is trying to discover glitches. So that's game number 2, which I think is awesome that they have the barriers and stuff and the walls, adding more to the gameplay. Game number 3 does the same thing, except this time, I think this is it. Maybe not. I don't exactly know what game number 3 does. I can't remember. The manual says what it does. What does game number 3 do? Okay, it's just a straight... So game number 1, you had an open field and it was guided missiles. Game number 2 is a maze with guided missiles. But game number 3 is a maze with straight missiles. So pretty much the same as the previous game, except now your missiles go straight. And game number 4 is a more complex maze. So like I said, I love the design of it. I think it's awesome that they made it more complex looking like that. Looks really cool. And you can actually control the way your missiles fire, so you have the guided missiles. So not really much to say about that other than I love the complexity of it, and yeah, more of a complex maze, and you can control the missiles. And this one's really cool. So game number 6 is what they consider billiards, where it's like, well, Pong. It like bounces off everything. And this is where things can get really chaotic. You and your buddy sitting there playing this, dude, things can go crazy really quick. So game number 7 brings it back to the complex maze. So now it's a complex maze with the billiard shots, which is pretty cool. Like I said, just being a single-player game like this, I don't know, it's obviously not that fun because this is all you really do. I do love the look of the tanks, you know, being an early Atari title like this. It is really cool seeing, I mean, you can tell what it is. You can tell it's a tank. And then game number 9 is Easy Maze with the billiard hit. Yeah, right there, like weird glitchy stuff like that. Right there. Yeah, like goofy, silly things like that. Like if you're pushing up against the wall and you hit the character, he does stuff like that. That's generally what I always try doing when I play a game like this. That's meant for 2 players and I'm trying to play it as single player. It gets pretty boring, so then you try to discover weird, quirky stuff like that. Game number 10, you're back in the open field. Now what's interesting is this is Invisible Tank, where you're both invisible and you have to try to find the other player. And there we go, I found him. So this would definitely, like I said, make for some intense gameplay, and it's awesome, like seeing the different variations. You have the easy maze, you have the complex maze, straight shots, guided missile shots, billiard, and now you get Invisible Tank. Skipped 11. So game 11 is the regular easy maze, except now you're invisible tank, and you have the guided missiles. So if you notice kind of a pattern here with a lot of the Atari games, is whenever they switch up the levels, they kind of repeat the same thing. It's like first there's guided missiles, then no guided missiles, and then something else. And then you move on to like stage 2. So it's kind of how a lot of these games are. Game number 12 is the same thing, invisible tank, except now you have Pong. And as long as your bullet missile is on screen, you will remain visible. So, game number 13, open field, and it's a billiard hit. Game number 14, billiards, invisible Pong, and you are in the easy maze. And then all of a sudden it like changes it up completely. All of a sudden you hit game 15 and you get what they call biplane games. So game number 15 they call clouds. So I'm the pink one. I guess it's a pink airplane. It is kind of cool. It's like the same plane from Air Sea Battle. Basically, it looks like a small jet from Air Sea Battle. That's pretty much what you do. It's like, yeah, it's really cool though. I love how they change it up. You go from tanks to shooting the airplanes out of the sky, and it is really cool having the clouds. Getting used to the controls are wonky. They feel backwards. Like if I want to speed up or slow down, I feel like speed up, you should push up. But if you push up, instead you circle to the right. If you push down, you circle to the left. If you want to speed up, you have to push to the right or push to the left to slow down. I feel like they should have been different. The controls feel backwards to me. I want to push up to speed up and down to slow down. But instead I have to go left to right to do that. And it really throws the controls off for me. Do not like that. Game number 16. So game number 15, you can control the missiles. In game number 16, they are straight missiles. You cannot control the missiles, but it's basically the exact same thing as game number 15. Game 17, but this is awesome. This is really cool. I love this. You actually get a machine gun. So look at this. I love the fact that you actually get a machine gun in here. I love that machine gun fire. That's so fun. Super fun. Look at that, though. That is cheap. But if you want to speed up, you just push to the right, and you can speed up and catch up to them. Like I said, trying to get used to these controls are kind of wonky. Game 18 is open skies, so no clouds, and you get machine gun fire, which is really, really cool. I love the machine gun fire. It's so much fun having rapid fire like that. And they never called it rapid fire. They said machine gun fire. And I don't know what the score is. It's like the first to 10 or something. I don't know how many points you need to win. Let me look that up real quick. I don't know if it tells you. It probably does. I'm not seeing it though. Oh well, I don't know how many hits it takes for you to beat your enemies. And then game 19. Where am I? So game 19 is really cool because now you get a double airplane or a biplane. So now it's 2 versus 2 in the open skies. So it's just kind of neat how they change that up. Game 20 is really crazy because now It's like 3 versus 1. You have this big, massive airplane, and you have to fight against the 3 smaller ones. Here's the interesting thing, though. See, right now I'm doing good, but you can actually shoot. You can actually shoot in between the planes and not hit them. I'm hitting them all the time, but your shot can actually go in between, like right there, and you can miss them. So, and of course, you're a bigger target, so it actually would be. I feel like you would have more of the advantage by playing as the triple planes because your shots will always hit your target, whereas this one, it can go in between. But because I'm amazing, I just happen to be hitting it all the time. And game number 21 changes it up even more. Now you're controlling jets. And this is what I'm talking about. This time they actually got the controls correct. Now I feel like I'm actually in control. I love the look of him. It's really cool seeing a different type of ship flying around this time. But yeah, the controls are different here. This time I push up and I speed up, push down and slow down, and left to right, right to left on the joystick makes me go in that direction. So I love it. And I do love they changed up the color palette. They changed the color palette, they changed the sprites, and they changed the controls, and it's actually pretty fun. But trying to play it as a single player definitely gets pretty boring, but doing it as a double player game would be awesome. And of course, game 21 was you can control your guided missiles, and game 22 are straight missiles. Pretty much the same thing, except now you cannot control your missiles. In game number 23 is guided missiles, however you are in the open sky, and so you are not dealing with any clouds. In game 24, you're not dealing with any clouds, and you're in the open sky, and it goes back to being straight missiles. You cannot control your missiles. Keep skipping over that one. There we go. And game number 25 does the double whammy thing, so you get the 2 airplanes, 2 versus 2. I don't know, are these guided? So we got guided missiles, so you got 2 airplanes, 2 versus 2, with the clouds and guided missiles. 26 is 3 on 1, which it would have been really cool to see that thing like really, really big, but it's probably too wide, so they probably didn't want to go that route. But it would have been really funny to see that thing just huge and massive floating around. And you do get the guided missile, so really not much else to say. Time to move on. Is that it? That wasn't it, was it? And game number 27 is the final game variation. You're in open skies. Yeah. Open skies, you cannot control your missiles, so you got straight missiles. 2 versus 2 in open skies. And there you go. That was Combat. You have 27 different game variations, and those were all of them. Alright, so that was Combat for the Atari VCS or the Atari 2600. And like I said, I do have the box and I do have the manual. Definitely a fun game. I think it would be a fun game with 2 players. Trying to play this game as a single player really is not that fun, which is kind of funny because this is like one of the very few Atari games I own complete in the box, and it just happens to be the game like that I don't really want to play. But yeah, like I said, I think it's really awesome, the different game variations. 27 game variations, just like Air Sea Battle, which is really cool. I'm kind of having an issue here putting the manual back, which is irritating. There you go. So, yeah, like I said, it would be a really fun game, I believe, if you played with a second player, but trying to play it as a single player really is not that fun. But there are 27 different game variations. You have tank, you have tank pong, you have biplane, invisible tank, jet fighters, and it's really cool. I love how they change it up, and it's super duper awesome. I guess I would recommend it if you have somebody to play with, but as a single player, it's definitely not that fun. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. How long have I been doing this for? I don't know. All right, I think I'm going to call the live stream here. So I want to thank everyone for watching, which was hardly anyone, but this is a brand new channel, and hopefully once I get everything figured out and get everything edited, everything will be going a lot better. So, Matt, thanks for stopping in and checking out the live stream. Hopefully this works out and saves me in the editor. Tomorrow, I think it took up a lot of time just playing the Pong consoles. Burp. But I think tomorrow I'm going to try to finish out that whole row. So tomorrow I have Indy 500, Street Racer, Hangman, Space War. What's that one? What is that one? Oh, Home Run, Outlaw, Breakout, Bowling, and Canyon Bomber. So try to finish that out tomorrow. I'll try to knock a bunch of this stuff out of the ballpark. And hopefully I will get caught back up to Chopper Command. And then from then on will be a lot of live streaming. So, I'm not going to be live streaming like this where I go through like different games. After this, once I get caught up to where I was on Twitch, I'm going to dedicate each live stream to one specific game. So the next game, after I'm done with all this, will be Chopper Command. That will be one live stream. I'll be done and then move on to the next one. So once again, I want to thank everyone who stopped by for watching, which is like 2 people. Matt, thanks for checking it out, hitting up the chat. It's always fun when you hop in here and start yik-yakking and talking a bunch of smack. So without further ado, I think I'm going to take off. So whatever, I'm Janitor Jake, and I will see you guys, hopefully, tomorrow. Or next time.